I like hearing how nice I am in person.
I hear somebody say, I think that really is Uncle Iroh.
One time a fan told me that they wanted to have a baby with my voice. We used to like trip out on the script. I remember like me and Jack and May would see each other like, did you read what's going on? This is crazy. What's happening?
Like Boss sing, I was like, what is Boss?
I threw it in the garbage when we left the room.
Oh, man.
I loved reading the scripts. I'm like, oh, couldn't I be that prince? Couldn't I be the king of Omashu?
On what?
There is no movie in Ba Sing Se.
And what would you say, James?
I'd say, my cabbages!
You're watching convention coverage.
Make some noise! Wow!
This is cool.
Thank you so much for being at our show. Thank you, all of you. It is such a great pleasure to see some of you again, meet some new folks. Thank you so much. I mean, I know that I'm a huge fan. I love the show, and obviously, all these people love you too. Give it up. Come on. Give some love. So, no, I don't want to waste their time, so I'm going to turn the show over to them asking questions. You guys okay with that?
Let's get it started. I want to start the panel by first saying thank you so much for bringing these characters to life. Thank you for the representation that you gave disabled and people of color like me. Like, that just means the world. Thank you so much. To that, I bow to you. And my question is, whether it be because it was funny, touching, whatever, what's your favorite thing that a fan has ever said to you?
We're very lucky because obviously you guys all are here because you love the show, but generally speaking, I mean, Olivia and I always say there's always one point in the con where we're crying because the show has affected you guys so much. So the fact that you're able to share your love just is a reflection of just what we put out there, and it's a symbiotic thing. So in general terms, you know, the love for it.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Like hearing from people about specific periods of their life that the show was a part of, and knowing like, hey, our artistic contributions were there, helping you through this time, or enriching this time, or helping a relationship with someone. You shared this with a parent or a sibling, or like that type of stuff is the coolest thing to hear, and to just get a glimpse into like the connection people have with the show is really cool.
I like hearing how nice I am in person.
We like hearing it too.
We're like, I was so scared to meet you, but you're so nice. I'm like, what compared to what, you know?
I was gonna say, I love when it's generational, so I'll have like grandpa, dad, and son or daughter, and I'm like, what? How old am I? This is a problem.
I think one of my favorite moments, it was the first time I ever cosplayed Iroh. And I just wanted to wander around the hall as a cosplayer. So I'm wandering around, somebody comes up to me and says, hey, Iroh, man, your cosplay, it's on point. And I go, oh, I thank you very much. And from behind me, I hear somebody say, I think that really is Uncle Iroh. And it's like, my work here is done.
I appreciate honestly, just the screams, usually from people just walking by. They're like, Melon Lord! And I'm like, what's up? I always appreciate a good call out.
One time a fan told me that they wanted to have a baby with my voice.
May is not okay with that, so I'm gonna have to step in.
I don't want to have a baby with it. I just want to do all the things that you do to have a baby. I don't want to have to watch some kid.
Yikes. We were actually also just telling James backstage, we did have a con last year where people wanted us to sign actual cabbages, like from the store. They were going to go bad, but we were doing it for the memes anyway. It was great. Wait.
Did you say memes? Have I been saying it wrong the entire time?
For the memories.
Oh, memes. Oh, I was like, I thought it was a meme.
No.
So old.
Oh my
God.
You're good. It's a meme.
It's French.
Okay.
I just want to say that this is my first con. I'm a little overwhelmed, a little tired, but completely buoyed up by like how much love is palpable in the room, and when people come up, and it means so much to them. So thank you all.
And guys, I know there may be some mixed feelings about this live action series that's coming out. You know, we don't know what we're getting, but who's excited to see James in it?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
First
your
of all,
question.
wow. Avatar is my favorite show ever, and I'm sure for a lot of people in this room, that's true. So my
you, Sugar
question,
Queen.
The outfit gave it away.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Thank you.
But my question is kind of going along that, like with it being so popular, was there a moment where it hit you, like this is gonna be a big thing that everybody really cares about?
No.
I would really love to hear,
No.
especially from James, because of the way that your role evolved. I want to hear, and Dante, because any excuse to hear your voice.
It's
Another
baby making.
Another baby from The Voice.
No.
You're like the Barry White of voiceover.
You know, it's seriously, when we did this show originally, there was no internet the way internet is here now. Like, we literally didn't even have Facebook or Twitter or anything when we were doing the show, so.
Or texting.
I mean, we're texting.
What?
I had no idea people were watching the show
Well,
that
and
weren't kids.
it only went for 3 seasons, so
Yeah.
typically, if a show only goes for 3 seasons, you're like, I guess nobody really liked
Right.
it, you know? So
I mean, it was cool when we did it. We used to like trip out on the script. I remember me and Jack and May would say each other, like, did you read what's going on? This is crazy. What's happening?
Like
This is
Boss
wild."
Sing. I was like, what is Boss
And so we were
Sing?
tripping just as actors, reading it and geeking out on like, it's a cool story, but had no clue that people were watching it.
I had the experience. I was like end of high school, early college, like when we were making the show. And so like as season 2 was coming out, I was in college and I had 2 different peers of mine at college pull me aside with the same exact tone of like, hey man, listen, it's a kid show. So I get like, don't tell anyone that I said this, but like your show's like really cool. And I was like, oh, people are like hearing about it. People are watching it. People are like seeking it out. So that was the early hint.
Yeah.
But you didn't
We
know
didn't-
the full scope of it until
Yeah, we didn't know
after it was
virality.
done, yeah.
We hadn't-
No.
It's not like now.
And none of I think I was like 30, you know what I mean? So it was like it was just another job. I definitely thought it was amazing because when we recorded, we did it in groups. I'd never done that. I'd never had a first on-screen fake kiss with somebody who's sitting right next
Right
to me.
there. What's
You
up,
know, so
Cricket?
that part was cool. I knew it was special. I knew the direction was special. I knew the writing was special. But I didn't know until I think I had a friend's kid be like, oh, my kid really likes your show. And I had these scripts. I just gave her one. Now I'm like,
I wish
just
I
was
kept
like,
all those scripts.
What?
I wish. Do
I
you?
gave them all away.
I
I,
have
had
none.
no idea.
0.
I know. But you know what? Those people are happy with it. So.
I threw it in the garbage when we left the room.
Oh, man.
See, no,
And then
I was
the-
11 and 12.
Threw it out.
This is good because my mom kept them. They're in a box.
Yeah,
I have them.
even read them. I did not read the scripts because I came in season 2, right? And a script on an animated show is a little less detailed than a script in a TV show or a movie. There's a little less detail, whatever. And so I didn't really know what was going on. You know, it's like Fire Lord, Earth Kingdom, whatever. So I didn't know Ty Lee was a bad guy until Dante and I did a con together like 10 years later. And they were like, what's it like to be a villain? And I was like, she's not a villain, she's pink. Like, I just played her pink. I don't know, that's why she's so chipper. I just thought she was pink and cute. And turns out, she's kind of bad.
And then cut to where we have this I can't talk today, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day. Anyway, cut to Twitter, text, all this stuff. I think this is the beginning of. My friends start texting me. They're like, "Oh my God, Jennie, Avatar's on Netflix. It went to it's so popular." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I'm recording in my booth like one day, and it's like, of course we can't be together in person. So the director's like, "Hey, Jennie, how does it feel to be on the #1 rated show on Netflix?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Netflix?" I was like, "Ooh, I guess I should post about this." And he's like, "I don't think they need any help." And I was like, "Oh, sorry." So that's kind of when I noticed. I was like, "Oh, it's really popular now," as opposed to back in the day, like we were saying. I don't know, like it took, if people sent fan mail, they would send it to your agent, and then another couple weeks.
No merch.
No
There was
merch,
nothing.
all that kind of stuff. So the internet, this day and age, it's really pumped up everything because everything is so instantaneous.
And you all did that, so thank you.
Thank you.
I always knew that it was a very well-written show. That was obvious when we were doing it, but it wasn't really until I started coming to these events and meeting fans and hearing the stories people tell about how this show positively impacted their lives. And I literally cannot think of another animated show that has had so much real impact in the real world. And it's a remarkable thing, My little brother called me up one time. This is another time when I knew there's something going on. It's my little brother. You know brothers. He calls me up, and he says, hey, big brother, what's that show you were in, that Avatar show? That show was really good, and you were good in it too. And I'm going, oh, there's something going on with this. If my little brother is telling me that. Indeed, what have you done with my little brother? So, yeah, it's remarkable.
Tara Strong got me to one of my first cons like 10 or 11 years ago. And I was like, nobody's going to buy my autograph, Tara. And it was like a pony con at the time. And I was like, you just want me to sit at a table by myself while you have a big line of people. That's what you want. And she was like, no, it's going to be awesome. Like, they really will. They care about voiceovers. Yeah. And I was like, really? Because we're so used to being like the little peons, Yeah. And so I remember sitting at a table all myself going, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen because nobody was at my table. And a guy came, I had headshots. I didn't even have pictures of my characters. I just had like me and I'm like, this is so dumb. I can't believe I'm here. And then this guy kept saying, he's like, did you play Azula on Avatar? And I was like, I think so. And he was like, hold on a minute. And he went, and he's like looking, he's like, yes, you did. And then he's like, hold on a minute. And then pretty soon, like I had like a line, and I'm like, yes. And I still hadn't seen it. Dante was like, Gray, you got to come to my house because I haven't seen the show, and now it's getting really popular, and people are wanting us to talk about it, and I don't know what I'm talking about. He's like, come to my house and watch it. So I started this Twitch channel, and I had to get a babysitter, and then I was like, I got to leave. I only could stay for my scene. Right. And then I was like, I got to go back to my babysitter. So I've still only seen my scenes. Sorry. It's bullshit, my scene.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
James, when did this hit big for you? We didn't hear quite from you.
Yeah, and I think she only asked you and
the rest of us kept talking. We want to hear from you.
I feel there's a little bit of imposter syndrome going on because like all of these people have beautiful arcs. They have these great characters. They've worked together, creating this dynamic. And I would come in like every 3 months, 4 months, and they'd bring me in alone, and they'd say...
And what would you say, James?
I'd say, my cabbages! So it was very strange. I mean, it was very strange, but I knew that things were happening because I loved reading the scripts. I'm like, oh, couldn't I be that prince? Couldn't I be the king of Omashu? And not knowing that the Cabbage Merchant would be so beloved.
Can I ask, James, were you, like, is that what you were cast as, or were you playing, like, a guard, and then that was an incidental, or, like, were you doing other roles when you were there, or were you just always the...
The first time, it was completely not a recurring character. He was someone that was a foil in, Omashu. Right. And I played the guard that interrogated him. And so the reason why he sounded like this was because the guard sounded like this. So I had to do something else. And then, so that was it. I was, just doing kind of little parts here, utility roles they're called. And then all of a sudden, they would be calling me in. I'm like, oh, what is it? Oh, it's Cabbage Man. Oh my God. Oh, okay. How many lines? Oh, there's that line. Okay. So you never know what will, bear fruit. And
the beautiful thing in voiceover
they're vegetables.
is you get paid the same if you have one line or all the
What will bear cabbage? Thank you.
Oh, man. James, I admire your character as Cabbage Man, who never had a formal name. I always love those characters because you're right. They're the ones who wind up being popular for whatever reason. So my question to you is, as the Cabbage Man, did you ever think you would be on a panel like this?
Never, not for a moment. I still can't quite believe that I'm here anyway, so thank you.
Quickly, what are your guys' thoughts on M. Night Shyamalan's adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Next! On what?
There is no movie in Ba Sing Se.
Yes.
Do you guys ever wonder what happened to your cartoon mom in the show?
My mom?
Yeah, in the show.
It's in the comics. What happened to your mom?
Yeah.
Same mom. We had the same mom. She loved me more than she loved you.
Yeah.
She told me that.
There's a reason I cut my bangs. I don't want to talk about it. I didn't read the comics, but I heard about it. I know. I didn't like that Azula was helping them. I was like, I don't want to be good. I like
She's
being
not.
mean.
She doesn't stay good. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good. Yeah.
She's mean through and through.
Yeah, I remember you were reading those on.
I was reading them.
You're a good actor.
I'm always rooting for my
I don't
sister.
have any kids. I got a lot of kids to worry
I know.
about.
It's in the search. You can go see some stuff.
I'll definitely check it out when I have the chance to read
Right.
the comics.
Yeah.
But thanks for your answer, though.
Sure.
Thank you.
Were you expecting your characters to have such major arcs from when you got hired to like the end point of the show?
Nope.
No one?
No, not
No.
even like character specific. Just like you don't expect.
general. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when we made that pilot, I had no idea.
Nothing.
Like it was so uncommon for a show to be that for a kids cartoon to be that serialized that I didn't expect arcs at all.
Right.
And then when it started to be clear that we had arcs, it was a very pleasant
Me too.
surprise.
That
to
first
get, like,
book, I was like, I asked Mike and Brian, like, am I the Wile E. Coyote? Just be honest with me. I'm never gonna catch this guy, right? I just want to keep catching him, but I'm not gonna catch him. I'm just like, he's just through my fingertips every time. But then they're like, no, wait, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, same. I mean, my voice was so blasé. I really thought that my whole life would be blasé. I mean, I thought May would just be like, I don't know, background. Which, I mean, that's what was cool about her, saving her man, her boo.
We had a lightweight little thing going on.
Ooh, we're gonna make some babies. So yeah, I know I didn't expect that at all. It was great fun.
Yours is one of my favorite lines in the whole series. I think towards the end, I guess I love Zuko more than I fear you. It's one of my favorites, man.
You miscalculated.
line.
You should have feared me more.
Thank you.
How did you guys get into voice acting?
I was a very unfunny stand-up comedian. I had no jokes. I was just like, so here's my impression of, and I'd do the whole Wizard of Oz. I want to go home. Annie, I'm Uncle Henry. I'm frightened. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? I'm not a witch at all. I'm just a little girl. Are you all right? It's like, I'm Mayor of Munchkin City in the county of the land of Oz. I welcome you most legally, but we got to verify it legally to see if she is morally, ethically, physically, spiritually, positively, absolutely, undeniably, unreliably dead. As good and it, I vouch for it. I've thoroughly examined her, and she's the only Put him up. I'll get a both hand behind my back. Anyway, I did the whole movie, and I'll get you my pretty little dog, too. Whoa. Anyway, and so then they were like, that's great. You need to write jokes, but you should go do some cartoons or something while you're doing that. Pauly Shore's mom worked at the Comedy Store, and my name was Mitzi, and so she's the one, you can blame her for all of this because she said, go do cartoons and then come back with some jokes, and then I just never came back. I did write some jokes eventually, but I didn't start comedy again until maybe 5 years ago, but yeah, she sent me off in a nice direction.
Mine actually also is from me playing the Wicked Witch. I swear to God. I swear to God, I was 7 or 8 at like my after school program, and I played the Wicked Witch. Probably better voice than yours, I think. And so my after school program then wanted to do like a radio commercial for to play on radio. This is in like Massachusetts. And so that was the first like VO thing I did, was a little radio commercial for my after school program after I had been in the play. So yeah. Who else played the Wicked Witch? Let's go down the line.
No, I didn't. But
I played the lion.
Hopefully,
the
I played
lion
the lion
on Broadway.
I was auditioning for a Broadway play, and the casting director was like, please stop talking. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, your voice, you should be doing voiceovers. And I was like, okay, ew, I'm horrible sounding, and I'm not getting this part. And what the F are voiceovers? I thought it was like jingles, like, American I don't know. But so anyway, a year later, I go back, same casting director said, you're that girl. I was like, and I was like, well, can you just tell me where to go, or like how to do it? And he did, and I followed it, but I never got the part from him. But I got to do voiceovers, so that's how I got into it.
It's a little bit of a funny story. I should never have been a voiceover person, based on when I was starting out on camera acting, and I was in the sequel to The Fugitive called U.S. Marshals.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah. And I played in the sides it said, the baby-faced killer on the plane. I was the inciting action. I get sucked out of the plane. I get bled on by Wesley Snipes. And so I'm doing it, and the director is just not very happy with me, and like, can we toughen him up? Can we make him tougher? Can he be tougher? So I'm very excited. I'm in LA. I'm moving out here because I was in this giant show, and I go to see the premiere, And here I am on the plane, and I'm walking, and then out of my mouth comes something that sounds like B. Arthur. So, hey, I gotta go to the can. Which was not my voice at all.
Oh my
so
God. W?
They dubbed me over. I was completely mortified. So it's ironic that I then became a voiceover actor. It was, they were looking for a sound-alike for Jackie Chan. So I'd never done any voiceovers before, and I just watched Rush Hour 12 times. And, you never touch a Chinese man's, you never touch the radio of a Chinese man, so. And I got that, and it was 5 seasons, and so that kind of launched me into the voiceover.
Amazing. Yeah, just auditioning since I was a kid, and I remember I did a Disney thing, a movie called the Goofy Movie, and I just was like, yo, Stacy, talk to me, baby. So I don't know, we're kid actors. A lot of us are kid actors, and we're kids, and we don't know what we were doing. We were going around auditions, seeing each other's parents, and just whatever you're auditioning for, you kind of got to do. And voice acting was early in the game. You too, Olivia, right?
Well, we auditioned for commercials,
TV,
movie, whatever they want to hire us for.
Hand modeling.
Oh, I did some hand modeling for a McDonald's commercial.
I was a dancer for like Adidas and OP and the magic shows. We did everything. I mean,
Yeah. My first thing I started in commercials similarly, and my first one was a Barbie commercial. And so there you go, falling. Woo!
There you go.
Dream Glow Barbie. If you look it up on YouTube, they have it in like 7 different languages. So it's my face with like Russian. It's hilarious. But I started in commercials, and then I went through an awkward growing phase. I don't know if everybody does, but I certainly did. I chopped my hair off, a bunch of teeth fell out. My agent was like, "Hey, we have this new thing called voiceover. You should try it for a second." Because I stopped booking commercials for a little bit. And that ended up working a lot better for my audition anxiety at the time. In person was tough for me as a kid because there were people just staring at you behind a table, and I totally absorbed whatever vibe they were giving me. So if they were just like stone-faced, I was like, oh, they hate me. So it did not go well. But yeah, voiceover was comfortable, and I was like in my little cocoon just making sounds, and I could read. That's a plus when you're a child. In acting, make sure you can read. So yeah, that's how I kind of found voiceover, through commercials. Similarly, I feel like we all did voiceovers and
auditioned,
commercials.
And my first real animated gig was a show called Hey Arnold back in the day. My first we love Hey Arnold, right? I love Hey Arnold, all the feels. And then it just kind of goes from there, like Dante was saying, when you're a kid, you just do, especially now, now kids have careers and managers and they get all, but back then, TikTok, but back then you're just doing whatever. Yeah.
I was a child theater actor, so I didn't make any money, but I did work really hard.
That's nice. That's nice.
One time I was like 5 to. But one time somebody thought I was a little person, and I was so flattered because I was in this play just being a brat, then throwing silverware and just being. And they were like, "You're a real child." Like after the show, they met me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a real child." I was like, "Did you think I was an adult?" And they're like, "Yeah, we just thought you were really small." Anyway, flattering. Best.
Jennie?
Did you answer this? Yeah.
I didn't answer, but I also was a kid actor, but I didn't book anything until I was like 16. So literally, I auditioned. Okay, let me back up. I was doing a show called Miss Saigon, and I did this.
A little show called Miss Saigon. The little show.
No. So there's a company called Saban Entertainment, and do you guys know what Power Rangers are?
Oh. Yeah.
Originally, they called me and they're like, "Hey, does Jennie know how to do karate?" And they're like, "Well, we'll teach her. We have the show. We want her to be this ranger." And I couldn't because I was working. So then, like a couple months later when I came home, the same company who produced that, they're like, "We want Jennie to do a voiceover." So my first voiceover gig, and it was my first, I guess, one of my first gigs, was I was the singing voice of Audrey in Little Shop. So I just sang, and so that was my first VO thing. So it was kind of weird how it all came about. And here we are, many years later. I am not 11 years old anymore.
Echo, great question too.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I was also a kid actor, but it was 1903.
No voiceover because there was no talk.
It was vaudeville. We did vaudeville. We toured the Midwest.
To all of you, being such iconic members of the voice acting industry, what sage advice or wisdom would you offer a starting out voice actor?
Run.
No!
I'm just teasing.
I would say create your own content, right? I mean, because I used to tell people the old-fashioned way of getting in, like do plays, do improv. I still think improv and plays are all great because it really is acting. But you could do all the plays and improv in the world and not get in because it's like a different playing field now. A lot of the new people that I'm seeing being cast are people who have. It's like she created her own internet show and then it became a hit, and then because it's like nobody wants to bargain on. Bet on someone that's like. They want the person who already has followers, who already has an audience out there. So, if you can make things on Twitch or, TikTok and that they're casting a lot of influencers, I've been noticing.
Yeah. I feel like it's the easiest and the hardest time because so much is available to you as far as education goes. There are so many YouTube channels, so many websites, and the technology that you even have just on this thing to even just record your own voice and listen to it back is crazy. I remember my mom and I used to lug around a little snowball microphone, which some of you may have also done, and we had to find a certain kind of computer, and the sound quality was not as great. So getting familiar with your own voice is now the easiest it's ever been, and you can practice your own sounds. What's kind of your go-to? My natural voice is kind of clear toned, and it can go super squeaky like this and whatever. That is probably not Cricket's strength. So what's your cornerstone? What's something that you feel like is maybe easy to you, but you could really fine tune and make into a strength? Can you copy horse noises really well? It could be the weirdest thing. Can you do really good impressions? Because people need those. Disney all the time. They're replacing people with people who can do impressions, right? To keep the same characters going. So just kind of finding what your strength is and then really making it solid. And then that's kind of going to be a helpful niche when you create your own content, because it's nobody else can, I don't know, make the sound of a pigeon like I do. I don't know. There's some.
You used to have to be in the right place at the right time, but now the right place and the right time is your closet. Literally, as long as you can get something out there. I used to be if I could just get in front of the right people, I know I could, because I'm.
Now the right people is your phone.
I remember wanting to be on SNL really bad, and they were they saw me do a little bit of stand-up, and they were you just need to make you a video. You need to make a video of all your characters, and I was oh, forget it. Because I was I'm going to have to find a video camera, and I don't even know anybody who has a video camera, and now it's in your pocket. So, yeah.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.